Don't never play with me. I don't cry right now. I ain't never got paid by the fish. What the Yo, face! Show your face, please! With sugar on top!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, so if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but when it comes to the FBG Butta trial against the OBlock 5, I kind of been keeping my distance from the case. It's a lot going on, and it seemed like most of the antics aren't from what's going on within the case, but it's been about situations that have been taking place in and outside of the courtroom. From YouTubers being watched by feds for their coverage on the case, to bloggers going back and forth with each other about the case, to feds searching into the backgrounds of their own cooperators, to cooperators going in the courtroom making a mockery of the trial, to cooperators lying about wages received for their role in the case. That's where we're going to be at today with this video. Now, aside from that, it seemed that most people aren't covering this case for the betterment of FBG Butta, but instead just trying to get the views that it attracts. And in doing so, a lot of controversy has came from that. However, if y'all remember not too long ago, when a YouTuber by the name of Mickey Truth was taken out of the courtroom by federal agents, this would spark a lot of controversy, even rumors sparking about a possible mistrial, on the basis of her being a journalist and the case being open to the public, where she was stripped of her right to view the court proceedings like everyone else. She wasn't a threat, nor did she do anything to jeopardize her right to be in the courtroom, aside from showing up. As the news was circulated about her being taken out of the courtroom along with another YouTuber who didn't even make it inside, word got around that it was due to a concern for her safety, as she was told that Cooperator 3 made threats towards her when he was notified that she was present in the courtroom. If y'all remember when the Chicago Sun-Times article came out about this, it would say, quote, Wilton expressed great displeasure to his handlers and at one point sought to run out of the room where he was being held. When he returned to the courtroom to testify, government agents told Williams that she wouldn't be able to remain in the courtroom while he was on the stand, the filing states. Although Williams was offered the opportunity to watch from an overflow courtroom, she decided to leave Chicago when the agents told her the defendants were dangerous people and said she was now at risk. Now listen, y'all. When everything first transpired, I minded my business because it was a messy situation and I just wanted things to blow over because there was a lot of things that just didn't make sense to me. But like I said, it's an open case. And the fact that the article said that agents removed her and told her the defendants were, quote, dangerous people, said all I needed to know. First off, how was he able to be upon the feds making threats to someone, not penalized, and instead they penalized the victim? What type of power he has within that group that as a convicted felon he could make threats with the feds knowing this, and instead they penalize the victim saying that they are dangerous people? That never made sense to me. That's like me telling the officer when I see such and such I'ma unalive him, and they go and arrest the person that I said I was going to unalive instead of me. Like, I don't know, man. If you so much as made a threat towards the president, they arrest you. So how was he not disciplined for being in a federal court making threats to a journalist? Not to mention the article states that she was removed for her erroneous reporting on the proceedings, which angered a key government witness. Now when it comes to the word erroneous, it's defined as containing or derived from error, wandering or straying away from, or misleading, also known as mistaken. But that wouldn't make sense because even 16 Shot on Visuals agreed when he was on live with Butta asking him what happened, that everything Butta said happened in the courtroom. Mickey pretty much said the same thing.
So that means she ain't lie you then. That's what she said. She said that you ain't tell no new information. Everything you said was on people that passed away.
So why was he mad? Not to mention, when have you ever seen a journalist get thrown out of a courtroom for erroneous reporting? Would they have done the same thing with Chicago Sun-Times? As a matter of fact, despite Trench's news saying that he never received $25,000 for his involvement, Chicago Sun-Times said he did. So wouldn't that be considered erroneous? So why wasn't he thrown out of the court? Why wasn't threats made towards him? Not to mention, I told y'all before, I found it kind of suspect that when Trench's news was on the stand, every day we got an update from Chicago Sun-Times and other articles, but when it was Cooperator 3's turn, we barely got any coverage. Why is that? But like I stated before, this is all from my observation and just some questions I had about certain things that didn't make sense to me. Now keep in mind that there's way more to that story between Mickey Truth and Cooperator 3 and his family along with his manager, but I'd rather keep that between them. So if you want to learn more about it, head over to Mickey Truth's page where she has spoken about it a few times and update yourself on the whole situation. Now the part that I found interesting through all of this, aside from the threats made in court, was when Butta expressed plenty of times on social media and during interviews that he was never paid or received a dime from the government for his role in his testimony. He made it clear during his testimony that the only reason he was up there was because it was FBG Duck involved, and if it wasn't, he wouldn't be up there testifying. Now during the live he had with 16 Shot Him, Butta will also make it clear that he didn't receive no money at all. Y'all check this out.
But tell I don't care, shorty. Don't never play with me. I don't care right now. I ain't never got paid by the Fed, shorty. I ain't never in life. Oh, nobody never heard of me until another nigga mentioned me.
She said you did. She said you volunteered. She said you.
I ain't nobody paid me. Oh, Hookah great.
Now from that same Chicago Sun-Times article, it would state, quote, Williams posted the video about Wilton's testimony on December 6th and incorrectly stated that he or his mother had received $2,700 in exchange for his testimony. That same day, as Wilton was still technically on the stand while the trial was in recess, he appeared on another YouTube channel and ranted about the mistake. Now, if y'all remember, Butta and Trench's news kept going on about them not receiving any money despite what the articles told us. Well, Butta would say that he never received any money, and Trench's would note that he did receive money, but not quite the amount of $25,000. However, a new affidavit from the case that's been made public since December 21st, 2023 will tell us something totally different in regards to Butta. On page 17 of the 20-page affidavit, it will say, quote, in the same vein, any suggestion by defendant Robinson that Williams' absence from the courtroom affected his ability to cross-examine Wilton on benefits he and his family had received from the government is similarly incredible. First of all, that word is crazy. But it says on November 5th, 2023, the government tendered to counsel for all defendants a letter disclosing benefits provided to any witnesses called in this case, including benefits issued to a member of Wilton's family. Despite having this information, defendant Robinson chose not to cross-examine Wilton on this topic either on December 6th or December 7th. He does not attempt to articulate how Williams' absence from the courtroom contributed to that decision. Now this goes back to what I said. If y'all pay attention to when Trench's news was up there on the stand and how much articles and stuff came out day by day compared to Butta's is crazy. Now I'm not sure if that was strategically done or whatever the case may be, but once again, this is just from my observation, and clearly they pretty much stated the same thing. It's almost as if some things was held back. I don't know. But anyway, the key parts in that passage that I just read says, quote, cross-examine Wilton on benefits he and his family had received from the government. Then the next key part will say, quote, on November 5th, 2023, the government tendered to counsel for all defendants a letter disclosing benefits provided to any witnesses called in this case, including benefits issued to a member of Wilton's family. Now there it is in black and white. I don't know how much clearer it can get than that, right? This tells us that someone received something, right? Even if you don't want to say Butta or anybody else, they said someone, right? A member of Wilton's family. They didn't specify, but they did say he and his family member. So at this point, it's looking like the only lie about him receiving money or any type of benefits, I guess, would be the amount. Right? Maybe it wasn't $2,700. It could have been more or it could have been less. However, this affidavit states that Cooperator 3 and his family member have received benefits from the government. Simple. And all of this information is available via PASA. Now, once again, this case has been a little messy with law enforcement paying close attention to YouTubers' accounts. And of course, you're going to have the people saying, oh, you playing YouTube detective? Nah, that's not the case here. Dealing with open cases especially, all I'm doing is reacting to the information that's already been made available to the public from the courts. It's not like it's inside information or stuff people can't have access to. You could, you just have to access it. Simple, right? And the unfortunate part of it all is that I'm more surprised than anything, right? If y'all been tuned into this platform for a long time, including our Instagram, y'all know that we spoke highly of Cooperator 3. You know that out of everybody, we stated that based off how he came off, how he seemed, in his interviews, he seemed genuine out of everybody when he used to tell his sides of the stories and keeping it real. But it seemed like this time he kept it a little too real and said a little too much. And it's more so shocking because it seemed to always involve the ones you think are solid until they get into them positions where you have to actually prove you're solid instead of just saying it. And then we realized that they aren't as solid as we thought. And one of the main reasons I make it my business to cover these stories is to prove to not only the youth, but young adults and even some adults that glorify that lifestyle and the people in it. We only get to see one side of that lifestyle. We only get to see what they show us, whether it's the money or, lack thereof, or the jewelry or the real or fake, right? The cars, the girls, the partying, all that, drinking, doing whatever you want. We only get to see what they show us. We don't get to see the consequences that come with it all the time. We don't get to see the part where these guys go to prison or jail for years at a time. We don't get to see the struggle or the trauma these guys got to endure over family or friends that they lost. And when we do, it's usually too late, especially these young kids. They don't find out that this isn't the route to go until they're in the courtroom fighting for their own life because they thought it was cool to be just like their favorite drill rapper. Go out there, spin a block, and next thing you know, they're facing 15 to 20 years. That's the part that they don't see until it's too late. Now, it's more to the story like I told y'all before, and the documents did make me question other things involving this case, but I just mainly focused on the receiving money part because that was the big thing, where Cooperator 3 said that he didn't receive anything. So the question is, if you're willing to lie about that, then what else are you willing to lie about, right? But I'll leave the rest to them, man. For y'all that are wondering when we're going to update you guys on the FBG Duck case, honestly, the trial is winding down, and by January, they're supposed to have a verdict. So when something worth reporting come out or we get an exclusive update or something, then we'll just let y'all know. Right now, it's a bunch of people reporting on it, and it's becoming repetitive, so it kind of just is what it is, man. As for this story, y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think Butta received any benefits from the government, or do you think that he didn't? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.